Hare Krishna everyone, welcome to today's session from Bhagavad-Gita as it is. We are on chapter 10, the Opulence of the Absolute, and so far we have covered up to verses 7 and we will continue from verse 8 today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So yesterday we were reading, discussing the verses 1 to 7, and the verses 1 to 7 was all about that Krishna is the source of everything, and no one knows Krishna because he is the source of everything. And we endeavor our best to understand from the scriptures, from the realized people and devotees, and also our spiritual master. So today we are going to begin from verse 8. Verse 8 to verse 11 is called the Chatuh shloki. Chatuh shloki Gita, the set of 4 verses. Now, here we will find out that Krishna can only be understood through bhakti, by his grace. So if we have the mercy of Guru, Krishna and the Vaishnavas, we can understand Krishna. So let's begin. Verse 8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Verse 9. Machchitta madgat prana budhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Verse 10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Verse 11. Tesham eva nukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashyamyatma bhavastho jnanadeepen bhasvata. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy the shining lamp of knowledge, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So if they say, if you haven't read the rest of the Gita, sometimes just by looking at these 4 verses, trying to understand them, you can understand a lot about the Bhagavad-Gita. So in these 4 verses is the essence of the treasure house of the Bhagavad-Gita, and they describe the 3 stages of the spiritual journey of a person. The first stage is the sambandha, or the relationship, or the knowledge of one's relationship with God. The second is the abhideya. Abhideya is the application of the knowledge you have gotten, and the third stage is the result, the fruit which you get from this pure spiritual service. And what you get is a pure spiritual consciousness and an unlimited love of God. So the last is called the prayojan. So this is very scientific process Krishna has given us, just like in it is stepwise. It is done in a very scientific way. So starts from some Bandha stage, which is a kind of a hypothesis. Then there's the Abhidhe, is a kind of experiment, and the conclusion is achieved in the prayojan. Krishna says in verse 8 that those who know I am the source of everything, they become enlightened, that is, they become Buddha, and they become devoted wholehearted to me, and that is the Buddha Bhava Samanvita. So Krishna can only be known by the bhakti, and that too by the grace of Krishna. Now, the knowledge of Krishna, that he is the source of everything, when you know that, your devotion will begin towards Krishna. Your bhakti will towards Krishna will automatically come. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Krishna says, when you get the knowledge that you have to do the devotional service, and that devotion, Krishna is going to give us the knowledge for that devotion as well. That he is a Supreme Personality. In Moksha Dharma, Krishna says, Prajapatim charudram chapi aham eva srijami vai tau te mam na vijanito mama maya vimohito. The patriarchs Shiva and others are created by me, though they do not know that they are created by me, because they are deluded by my illusory energy. In the Vara Puran, it also says, Narayanaha paro devas tasmaj jatas chaturmukha tasmad rudro bhavad devaha sacha sarva janatam Gataha. Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and from him Brahma was born, from whom Shiva was born. So Brahmaji was born from Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and from him, from Brahmaji, Shiva came. So Lord Krishna is the source of all kinds of generations. He is called the most efficient cause of everything. Why? Because everything is born of Krishna. He is the original source, Krishna says, and everything is under him. The only supreme controller is Krishna, and he maintains everything as well. So without getting bewildered, we should understand through the help of the spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, through the Vedic literature, the references from them, and from the realized devotees, and by reading and hearing, we could understand the full knowledge of Krishna, and we will be firm in our Krishna consciousness as well. Vedas Brahmanyo Devaki Putraha. The son of Devaki, Krishna, is a Supreme Personality. This is said in Narayan Upanishad as well. Eko vai Narayan asin na Brahma na Ishano napu nagni samo neme dyav aprithvi na nakshatrani na suryaha. In the beginning of the creation, there was only one Supreme Personality, Narayan. There was no Brahma, no Shiva, no moon, no stars in the sky, no sun. This is reference from Maha Upanishad. Shiva was born from the forehead of the Supreme Lord, and thus the Vedas says that Supreme Lord, the creator of Brahma and Shiva, is to be worshipped So in Atharvaved Gopaltapani Upanishad 1.24, it is also said, Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Ve Vedamscha Gapyati Sma Krishna. It was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. Then again, Narayana Upanishad says, Atha Purusho Havai Narayano Kamayata Praja Srijayate. Then the Supreme Personality, Narayan, desired to create living entities. The Upanishad also says, Narayanad Brahma Jayate, Narayanad Prajapatihi Prajayate, Narayanad Indro Jayate, Narayanad Asatau Vasavo Jayate, Narayanad Ekadasha Rudra Jayante, Narayanad Dvadasha Dityaha. From Narayan, Brahma is born, and from Narayan, the patriarchs are also born, and from Narayan, Indra is born. From Narayan, the 8 Vasus are born, from Narayan, the 11 Rudras are born. From Narayan, the 12 Adityas are born. So, this Narayan is expansion of Krishna. So, we should only listen to the bona fide commentaries and try to understand what is expressed in the Bhagavad-Gita. In the Chatuh shloki of these 4 middle verses, chapter 10, the Opulence of the Absolute, verse 8 to 11. Now in verse 9, Krishna is going to talk about the Abhideya and some Prayojan as well. Krishna says, the thoughts of my pure devotees, they dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service. They derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So the mind, matchittah is the mind, speech, bodhyantah, body, matgata, prana. So the mind, body and speech of the pure devotee is always absorbed in Krishna consciousness, is always conscious of Krishna's presence in everything around them in this life, and they thank Lord for the bodily platform they are into, because this is the only platform, the body platform of a human being, which is going to deliver us from this. In any other species, it's not going to be possible for us. We will have to come up to the human platform to start our bhakti and derive the most benefits of being a human, of having our souls in a human body. So we should change ourselves from just sense gratification to gratification. We should be not doing sense gratification for ourselves. We should be offering everything to Krishna. This is what we should be aiming for. Then we will be able to return to Him even at the stage of mind. So in our minds also, we shouldn't be thinking of gratifying ourselves, pleasing ourselves by doing this, by doing that. So from our mental platform, in our mind actually, we should be starting first how to please the Lord. And by starting of those thoughts from the mind, they will be changed to actions, and then our bhakti will become complete. So we should discuss Krishna's pastimes, we should hear them, and we should apply them in our daily life activities. And this way, when we are applying the scriptural knowledge in our daily life, we will see that Krishna is encompassing each and every sphere of our life, and it's not at all difficult for us. Lord Chaitanya is likening the sowing of seed in the heart of a living entity. that is the beginning of the spiritual journey of a person, which can start from anywhere, by just hearing, by discussing, or just thinking, remembering. So this is how the seed is fructified. The seed is there in everyone's heart, but it's in a dormant stage. It's in a sleeping stage. It has to be awakened. And which can happen just like that. Prabhupada says, within a moment that can happen. And the surrender also can happen in a moment to Krishna. When you understand that he is the source of everything, like Krishna was telling us from in verses 1 to 7 of this chapter 10. So in the purport, Prabhupada is telling us that there are only very few who will be fortunate enough to meet the pure devotees, and to understand the devotional service. Because if we do our own endeavors, we'll be here wasting so much of our time, and we haven't got so much time. But if we get the help of the spiritual master and nicely written scriptures like Bhagavad-Gita as it is, and other scriptures written by Srila Prabhupada, then it'll be like getting a lift to the bhakti. So the bhakti can begin nicely by chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This mantra is like, if chanted seriously, this is like a plea to God to engage in the bhakti, and it is also a way to remember the Lord 24/7 by chanting or by hearing, or doing the chanting together, which becomes the kirtan. The plant of devotional service is completely described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you get a chance to read it, that is supposed to be read after the Bhagavad-Gita. You go to the Srimad Bhagavatam, and once you have done the Srimad Bhagavatam study, then you can read Chaitanya Charitamrita completely. But before that, you can also look for the verses which are sometimes relevant to the study of your earlier scriptural matters. So in this Madhya Lila, chapter 19 of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is explained that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God. That Bhakti Lata Beach, the Bhakti, the creeper of the devotional service, that is being referred here. Then that person cannot live for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord, just as a fish cannot live without water. And in such a state, a devotee attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also there. You can see lots of stories, lots of narrations about the relationships between Supreme Lord and his devotees. It is the Srimad Bhagavatam is full of such stories. If you want to hear some stories, there is another playlist about the stories from Srimad Bhagavatam on the YouTube channel as well. So you can refer to the Krishna Bhakti YouTube channel and listen to lots of stories. I have uploaded those stories. They're done by Narayan Keshav Prabhu. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 13th chapter, 18th verse, it says, Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees. It is told in Srimad Bhagavatam as well. And in the narration of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no material activities, no economic developments or sense gratification. It's only the narration, only the stories from the transcendental nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagwan Krishna, and his devotees. And they're all very, very enlightening, and they give us so much knowledge how to make most of our lives and how to learn and to live the life properly. and realize our goal in Krishna consciousness, and take bliss and pleasure in hearing those transcendental literatures. Prabhupada says, just like a young boy and girl take pleasure in association. So hearing those stories, those transcendental stories, is given comparison to the association between a young boy and a young girl. In verse 10 and 11, it's all about the abhideya. What is the result? So how a person will become Buddha, how a person will become learned. Because in verse 10, Bhagavan says he will give the Buddhi Yoga. The Dami Buddhi Yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. So Bhagavan says, those who will constantly be serving me, my pure devotees, with love, I will give the understanding. We have to just begin our devotional service, the bhakti. Bhagavan will do the rest. Believe you or not. Believe me, sorry, I should say. Because we take one step, Krishna says, I'll take 10 steps towards you. Or sometimes it feels like 100 steps, if you ask me. Once we will engage in the devotional service of the Lord, Krishna will provide the rest from within. He will enlighten us from within our souls that what step we should be doing next, what endeavor we should be going for. Because He's sitting in all of us as super soul. Each and everyone has got that part and parcel of Paramatma sitting as super soul. That Paramatma is giving the light to our conscious, the Atma. Actually, that Paramatma, the super soul, is guiding our souls. So the conscious in our souls is also due to that bit of Lord, the Paramatma, the super soul. So Prabhupada is reminding us that in the second chapter, the Lord was instructing Arjun that he had told him so many things, and he would instruct him in the way of Buddhi Yoga. Lord told him in second chapter. And now this Buddhi Yoga is actually explained. Buddhi Yoga is the highest intelligence. Buddhi is intelligence and yoga is the mystic activities or the mystic elevation. So when we take up to the bhakti, and eventually when one day we will be succeeding in going back to the Godhead, taking the Krishna consciousness fully in His devotional service, which we are practicing here in this world, how to serve Krishna. But when one day we will be given that chance to actually do that devotional service to Krishna in the Golok Vrindavan, in the abode of Krishna, in the home of Krishna, when we'll be in the spiritual home, that will be our ultimate result. That reaching to that part is the ultimate goal of our life. So as we keep on reading and reminding ourselves that the ultimate goal of our life is achieving Krishna and then performing devotional service to Him. But if we are addicted to the fruits of our activities, we are acting Karma Yoga and we are not offering our fruits of activities to Krishna, and then we just make our own deductions. We just decide, oh, this is going to lead to this, this is going to lead to that. That is going to be Jnana Yoga. But in Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, that is the complete yoga. That yoga is the highest perfectional stage of life. So when a person is performing the devotional service with full surrender, with nice devotion, and then when he is offering some part of his work also to Krishna, then there is real progress and the path gets clearer and clearer. And the God also helps the person to make the progress. Verse 11 is how Krishna gives us the buddhi, how he removes the darkness. Bhagavan says that to show special mercy to those devotees, I, dwelling in their hearts as super soul or the Paramatma, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So by chanting the Mahamantra Lord Chaitanya, thousands and thousands of people were following Lord Chaitanya there in Benares, and Prakashananda Saraswati, a very influential Brahman of that time in that city, he challenged Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was being a very sentimentalist in his approach. And he was challenged, but he was wrong, because we have seen how Mahaprabhu defeated them from the Shastras, from the knowledge of the Shastras. And if one is sincere in the devotional service, in the Krishna consciousness, in their Krishna consciousness, they understand that Krishna is everywhere in all the living and non-living around them in the world, then there is no problem. Then you can explain, through the help of the scriptures, anyone this scientific approach to understand God, especially these verses 8 to verse 11 of chapter 10, the Opulence of the Absolute, especially the way Prabhupada has written for us. And it is not just written in English or Hindi, it's in so many Indian languages and also the languages of the rest of the world. So even in Arabic, even in Japanese, even in Chinese, all kinds of languages, of Eastern European languages, Asian languages, South American, Bhagavad-Gita as it is, has been translated. So the supreme truth has been told by Lord to Arjun, and Lord reminds Arjun that with just mental speculation, just by with guesswork, just by with your own spin around the things, you cannot understand it, or you cannot awaken that love for Lord in your hearts. Only by devotional service Lord is pleased, and by his inconceivable energy he reveals himself to the heart of the pure devotee. Because Krishna is always there within the heart of a devotee. So Krishna is going to dispel the darkness of ignorance, and that special mercy is also going to come through Bhagavan, through Krishna. Due to the bad material association of so many lives, of millions and millions of births, because remember, even the 4 cycles of one yuga are so long when we think of them with respect to the earthly years. So God knows how many births we have accumulated that kind of ignorance, that kind of covering on our souls. It's been covered with smoke or dust. Now we have to clear it out first by chanting the holy name, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and once that is cleaned, then our hearts will be ready again to receive the transcendental knowledge coming from the Lord through the scriptures. And and that Bhakti Lata Bij, like it's told in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's described very nicely. I'll remind you the verse again. It's in Madhya Lila chapter 19. It's explained very nicely of Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you want to see, you can have a look on the Veda base for yourself. It's been described that how it fructifies, how it gets nourished, and how it removes the darkness from our beings, and we are able to perform the devotional service to Lord very easily without any effort. So these are the 4 key verses, or the Chatuh shloki from Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 10, the Opulence of the Absolute, verses 8 to verse 12. Thank you for joining today. I wish you all a very happy day ahead. And today is the second day of Bhisham Panchak. And please offer the bilva leaves or the wood apple leaves to the Lord's thigh today. If you haven't got them, then you can just do it mentally. This is mentioned in the scriptures. We do it in the Bhisham Panchak. Yesterday we offered the lotus flower. Today is the bilva leaves. And today is the 27th day of the Kartik. So Kartik is also coming to end. Monday is the last day. So don't forget to offer the ghee lamps as well to Lord, and get all the benedictions, all the mercy from Lord. And if you can chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it's wonderful. One mantra in this month of spiritual sale, as we say in ISKCON, is equal to 1,000 mantras. So chant and be happy. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.